Hi everyone, welcome back. So I need to make a quick bowl for a client, and you'll see in this video how I go about making this big 12-inch elm bowl. And this will go straight into chuck. You see here a foot, so just grab it. Doesn't matter that it's warped or oval, just lightly grab it. Just check if I'm holding it correctly, and that's okay. You can see how much it warped, and now the speed goes down, and all I want to do now for the start is make a little recess here. And so this is now spinning at 900 RPM. Just screw up the rim like this, and need to raise the rest a little bit, and I'm watching, projecting where the chuck is from the other side, and I think the recess somewhere around here should be okay. It's ever so slightly dovetailed. Not by much, it's almost square on the sides here. So I can reverse this. Now this is 12-inch diameter, and I believe it's 4-inch tall. Let me just double check. Yeah, 4 inches or 100 mil. And you can see where this fits. That should be okay. And I have this other chuck key that I made actually in the video with the ball on top, which allows me to pivot outside. So if you use your regular key, then it goes in straight in the chuck, so you don't have much in terms of setting it aside, let's say, so you can expand or close the jaws. So with this one you can see I have a lot more room to go outside the bowl, and that's it. And this method holds the bowl really securely, doesn't go anywhere. And once you screw up the top here, then once you spin it, you can see that the top isn't wobbling, so you know you're seated all the way. Everything is nice and as it should be. So first I want to screw up here the tenon. This outer rim here will be my foot. So that's for now. I have a foot screwed up. Now I can actually screw up this, still using spindle gouge. And you can mark the very center, because I will have to reverse this to get the foot off. And now I can screw up the sides here. And here I stop and leave a little timber here, so I don't go rushing over the edge, so that will break off the end grain. So just reduce it, and I remove it like this, so it doesn't break off. Now you can see the lovely grain, the pattern, the discoloration and everything in this elm. It's a rock hard, so it dulls tools quite fast, but as I'm looking this, I don't see any splits, which is great. Still have a little remnants of the the paint that I use. Now for the paint, the sealer on the outside, I've just used old water-based paint that I have in a cabinet. Usually I would use wood glue, thinned down around 10%, regular white glue, and but occasionally, if I have any paint which I want to get rid of, then I use it on a bowl like this. And this is big timber, big size bowl, and I did want to seal it ever so slightly so it doesn't lose moisture too quickly and start to split. So now, as this is without any splits or cracks or anything like that, I can go nice shear cut, finishing the outside, and I can increase the speed now. This is now running at 1200 RPM. I'll actually drop the rest a little bit. Nice and easy. Now I went here on purpose on the outside here. I have in mind maybe slight decoration, still not sure if I like that. I always liked Mike Mahoney's raised edge here, so as it seems now this is a little bit too big, and I'll actually reposition the camera so you can see what I'm actually talking about. So I hope you can see in this portion here at the shadow. So this is nice flowing curve, and then it rolls out, and I'll see if I like that or not. I can always change it, but now I want to finish this portion here. On this side here, quite harsh surface here, so I want to refine that a little bit. And since I have the gouge in my hand, I'm going to use as a shear scraper. So drop the handle really low. Basically I'm below my waistline, and close the flute. And you're watching what's happening here on the horizon. Now that doesn't seem as good scraping cut. It's not bad, but still have a lot to remove. So I'll just hone the left portion of the gouge here using this 600 diamond card. So that will raise a fresh cutting edge. Usually I don't hone gouges, but for shear scraping like this, it works great. I need to take care of this portion. Now that's actually feeling quite rough here. Oh yeah, that's really torn out, you can see here. So I'm going to put the fresh burr on from the grinder on the scraper, see if that helps, and if not, then I'll use something else. See if that's a little better. Not so much. You can see here it doesn't like to be scraped flat, at least this particular elm. So hope you can see from this angle how it sort of lift this grain. It's not on the all the way around, but here you can see as well. So I'm going to deal with this a little bit differently, or at least try. So what I have here is a spear point scraper. So I'm going to try using it. That feels actually much better. I'm using spear point scraper because I can get into corner and in sort of a shear scraping mode, and let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that's now really clean, as you can see. No tear out whatsoever. Spindle gouge, I want to refine the foot here a little bit. First, this is too tall of a tenon. Okay, so now have the thickness of the foot that I'm after, and now make it nice and clean, and that will be okay. And now one more scrape right into corner, and from this side as well. Just be careful so you don't position the other side of the scraper. Let's say if I'm going here or in this direction, if I go into the foot, then it will skate over and ruin the foot. Okay, so the outside is nicely sanded up to 360 grit, and I'm quite happy with that. Now, I didn't sand eventually this foot. As I'm watching it more and more, I think I'll remove everything here. So, but first I need to hollow the inside. Okay, that's running nice and true, and I want to check where I am in terms of depth, and I have enough timber, over ½ inch on the very bottom here to play around. So I resharpened the bow gouge, and now I need to focus on the rim first. Bring the speed back up for hollowing. So running at 1300 RPM. So I want to make a little round over here. Okay, that will be okay, and a little inward profile. Yeah, I think that will be okay. So here, I hope you can see the wobble. This is my inner lip, so it won't be as a wide rim as I would hope or want, but still I want to undercut it slightly, so it goes slightly this way and then curves to the bottom here. But first I need to remove that oscillation. and I'll stop here just to check how the cut is working, how the wood is working. I still have a little bit, show you on this side, the white paint here, so but the cut is not that bad. But I'll resharpen the gouge one more time. If you remember, this has a lot of minerals in it. I'm not sure exactly the name for it, but it dulls tools really fast, so I need to sharpen more frequently. There is no rule of thumb like you have to sharpen like every 40 minutes or so. There is no rule for that. Just if it feels dull, the tool, or you feel that it needs to be cutting a little bit better, then go to the grinder and sharpen it. Okay, that feels like a good cut, and that's the rim section, the top half of the bowl pretty much done, apart from sanding. Yeah, that's pretty good surface. I'm okay with that, and the thickness is slightly less now than 10 mil. Here at the top is around 3/4 of an inch, actually around 20 mil, and it undercuts the rim and going in. So now I'll actually grab 16 mil ball gouge and continue on. So I always leave the center portion as long as I can, because now I know from the initial measurement that I have roughly ½ inch or 12 mil beneath this point, and here I see how much I've taken so far. So, and the curve is actually quite good. It's actually a little bit thicker here. Then I would want maybe one more cut, and I'll actually sharpen this gouge now and make one more pass, and that should be it. I have the bigger gouge nicely sharpened, and I'm going to project this curve where I finish it with a smaller gouge nicely to the bottom here, and I'm going to go all the way. First of all, the bevel here will allow me to do that, and secondly, as you saw on the outside, this particular bowl doesn't like to be scraped at all, and so I'm going to avoid scraping the bottom. Okay, that feels as good curve. And one last pass. And gently through middle. There we go. So there is a little ridge here. Not sure if you can see it. Okay, so this portion is done, and now just blend this one more time. There we go. So that's finished the bottom of the bowl a little bit differently than you maybe saw from my other videos, but that's actually the point of this video, of this particular bowl. Now, if you saw my previous videos where I turned some of this elm, then you remember that it's, first of all, it's really hard on your tools, so you have to sharpen more frequently, but also it doesn't like to be scraped as cleanly as some other timbers. Now, my advice would be that you don't have to stick to one particular techniques for the turning, because sometimes you just have to adapt on the fly to get the best surface possible, so you reduce your sanding time. Side is nicely finished in terms of sanding. This is just clean water, and I'm going to only go on the inside for now. Now what this will do to the timber is it will raise the grain. So you don't want to obviously soak it in a bucket, but just on a paper towel lightly go with the water. It will raise the grain. Let it dry out like this for a few minutes, and what we'll do, particularly on some timbers that really are prone to raising the grain in terms of water. So if you ever make a bowl and you first time wash it, use it, and it gets a little bit rough, fuzzy, so that's those fibers that are raised. Or for instance, if you put water-based or waterborne lacquer, first coat, sometimes it can really raise the grain on the timber, so you have to take that down before applying next coat. And this is again just preventional. I like to raise the grain, especially if the bowl is going to a client. Raise the grain so it doesn't raise the grain after the washing, so it stays a little bit more smoother, if that makes sense. So now just wait for a few minutes. I sometimes use shavings to build up a little bit of friction, heat, and that usually dries it a little bit faster. And I use worn out final grit, which is 360 in this case, and just go one more time sanding it, and that will be it. So that's the sanding the inside fully done. Now this rim here is just slightly too sharp for my liking, so just give it a few rubs. You don't want to round it over. It has to have a sort of a crisp detail on it. So that's the inside done nicely. And so what I'll do is put a block of timber here, flattish curve piece, and what I have here is a non-slip cloth and a cotton cloth, because this stuff now the first time that I bought this, I bought something else, some other brand. It was okay, but this one likes to sort of leave a stain if you press it a little bit. So this is now the padding. This will go like this, and I need to bring the tailstock and bring the tailstock to the dead center. Okay, so now the ball is between the centers. It's pretty okay centered, a little bit of wobble, but I can live with that. And first what I want to do is just remove this foot. So I put a slight reverse curve here. And I can remove now the foot here. Still using spindle gouge. Okay, that's looking okay. Now one shear cut back to the center. Nice and easy. And you want to make sure that it's concave. Now this is actually dead flat, so I need to undercut it even more. Okay, I can double check. Yeah, that will be okay. And the surface is again sandable. This area here is also, I can sand. Oh, actually there is slight ridge here from the original foot. And now with a smaller gouge, I'm just going to make a detail here. Like this. And what I can do actually, since I have the timber here, I'm going to slightly undercut all this portion here, so it only sits, so the raised edge is actually the rim here. And to finish it here at the corner, I'll use a shear scraper just lightly. There we go, that should be okay. And the surface should be okay. At least it feels when I use the scraper, and it is. Outside is now sanded, so I'll again put a little bit of water on paper towel. Okay, so that's bowl done. So the inside, the outside, everything is done nicely. So all I have to do now is clip this using pliers. Remove this knob. And don't just focus on that little dot, give it a little broader sanding so it blends everything nicely. So now I'll actually sign my work. So you can see now this is signed, and now I can put the oil on. The oil I'm going to use, this one, this is from Standard Company. It's some sort of a linseed oil. So just pour a little bit in. I'm using a cotton cloth to spread it around, let it soak in. see at the bowl, the wood, the grain in it, and the colors from the one coat of oil. And I'll just buff this off with a clean cotton rag and let it dry in the house for at least a few days, and then hand it over to customer, which then it will again dry at her house for another week or so, and then it will be ready for use. So hope you like this video, and see you in the next one.